are the men empowered to protect the citizens of Haryana. Policemen caught on camera taking a bribe to let off those allegedly involved in a sex determination case.
अगर पुलिस कर्मचारी दोषी पाए जाएंगे तो उनके खिलाफ सख्त कार्रवाई की जाएगी। हम उनकी इंक्वायरी की प्रिलिमिनरी इंक्वायरी की वेट कर रहे हैं और इंक्वायरी रिपोर्ट आते ही हम उनको सस्पेंड कर देंगे।
What more proof does the government need to act against these policemen?
मैंने वो सीडी और वो कंप्लेंट डीजीपी हरियाणा को दी है और उनको कहा भी है मैंने कि वीडियो में जो आपके पुलिस वाले शरेआम पैसे लेते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं उनको तो आप तुरंत प्रभाव से सस्पेंड करें।
Mirror now has relentlessly been questioning the sham of an investigation that is being conducted into the brutal gang rape of a 22-year-old in Rohtak. And in a desperate attempt to save face, authorities have suspended 2 officials.
कार्रवाई को ना करने के लिए जो समय इस कंप्लेंट को जिसने डील किया है एएसआई जोगिंदर सिंह है सिटी सोनीपत के सर उसको तो तुरंत उसको सस्पेंड किया जाता है।
But is this enough? The anger against the inaction, the corruption and the indifference has begun pouring out onto the streets. As Haryana descends into anarchy, the Chief Minister is still missing in action. How much more evidence does the government of Haryana need to crack down and do the job that they were elected for? Mirror Now report.
Well, we've been talking about this now in almost the whole week. We started on Monday. The fact that the police in Haryana have been dragging their feet, the police in Haryana are corrupt, that the police in Haryana are not taking their job seriously enough. I want to remind our viewers that we had evidence on this channel to suggest that while the parents of the Rohtak rape case victim told us that they went to the police station to file an FIR, the police did not file their FIR and chased them away. Had they done it at that time, they would have saved that poor girl's life. Today, emerging in the news, this camera visual, this visual shows very clearly 2 police officers taking bribes on camera. From what we understand, the people who are paying them bribes are accused in the gender test. Basically, this is the prenatal sex determination test, and they went around saying that we will have you arrested unless you pay us a certain amount of money. This is where we are right now, proving that the police in Haryana are willing to make a case go away. They're willing to make an FIR go away for a certain amount of money, proving that the police is corrupt, that the criminals are in uniform, that nobody is protecting the people who need to be protected. Where will the government of Haryana offer us a justification from today? Where? Let me also point out to you that while we've been demanding from the beginning of this week that the officers on duty be arrested for not filing a complaint in the case of Rohtak, those officers today have been suspended. Suspension is not enough. Their names must be added to the FIR as co-accused and they must be arrested immediately. Joining me on the show this evening, Raman Malik, spokesperson of the Haryana BJP, Yogita Bhayana is a social activist, Sujay Kantawala, senior advocate, Uday Sahay is the former DCP Delhi Police, Gaurang Kanth is a lawyer at the Supreme Court, Sneha Mukherjee is an advocate of the Human Rights Law Network, and Dr. Ashok Kumar is the person in the video, or the person who made the video of the bribes that were being paid to the police, who also joins us on this show. I want to start with Sneha Mukherjee. Sneha, we talked about this compromise that is arrived at in Haryana a lot of times. The compromise is what we're seeing on the screen right now, when police officers are willing to take money and they have a tag, they have a price, 75,000 rupees, 1 lakh rupees, this is what you have to pay. This is how compromises are achieved in rape cases. You pay me this much money, I'll make the case go away.
So, Faye, when we talk about compromises here, in this case probably we are saying that there's money involved. But in most of the gang rape cases or rape cases, it might just not be money. It may be kind or there is a lot of threat involved, they'll just come and threat. If you file a complaint, we'll see to it that you do not live in the village anymore. We'll make sure that your family is destroyed, somebody is killed. So that level of threat is given to the families, wherein the family has to choose whether to be safe in the house or fight for justice.
Right, and obviously, Yogita Bhayana, and I want to go over to Yogita Bhayana right now. Yogita Bhayana, while the family might be threatened, the accused is being let off. Is the accused being let off because the police is fundamentally corrupt? Yogita, have we finally proven the point that we've been trying to make all week, that police are not taking crime seriously, and that's the reason why Haryana is a mess?
Definitely, yes, Faye. As I had mentioned earlier also, there's a problem with the social mindset, social fabric of Haryana, and these cops unfortunately belong to the same belt. Even accused are from the same belt. Their mindset is the same. First of all, who's taking bribe is also having the same mindset. Who is giving bribe is also of the same mindset. There is a problem with efficiency, transparency, accountability. Now we are having corrupt policing also. So these are the 4 things which are needed for a good policing. If you compare it with the international police, I mean, Haryana stands 0 out of 100. I mean, they need to understand that they are there to protect child rights or whatever. I mean, in this case, even in Rohtak case, they took bribe, or maybe they must have taken bribe. That's the reason they did not report the FIR. From womb to outside, a woman is not safe, and a guy is taking bribe on that behalf. Such a shame, you are taking bribe to kill a child in the womb. Basically, sex determination in Haryana means you are going to kill the child inside the womb. There is no two way about it, because if you see the sex ratio, nobody has to deny that Haryana is the worst. So you can imagine they are taking bribe to kill a child. If you really look at the whole prospect of it, you see, right. Sujay? Imagine. Well, they are killers. They are killers. I would consider them as killers.
Let me contribute to this debate from the angle of the Supreme Court judgment. The constitutional bench of the Supreme Court, interpreting section 154 of CRPC, has held that in a cognizable offence, the police has no choice. They can't make a preliminary inquiry, they can't make all the superficial inquiries, but it has no choice. It is duty bound to lodge an FIR. So therefore, if they do not lodge an FIR and thereafter do not put on all the information in the general station diary, which is maintained in every police station, record every minor detail, then there is a gross dereliction of duty. So therefore, as per the police conduct rules, suspension is not enough, because that's a civil remedy. There will be a charge sheet, disciplinary inquiry, and maybe he'll be dismissed from service. But how is he accountable? Therefore, his name, because he has made contempt of Supreme Court judgment, therefore he is criminally liable. He is criminally liable because he has conveniently ignored facts. He has not followed his rules. So therefore, there is a 120B sweep. 120B is conspiracy under the IPC. It's a wide sweep. He has to be brought in as an accused, co-accused. His name has to come in the FIR and he has to be made accountable. Otherwise, it will send a very wrong message to the police people who are not doing their duty, not performing their duty, and are committing gross contempt of the Supreme Court, which is impermissible. Right.
I want to play out this part. This is the SP Haryana in response to the video of these police officers taking bribes. And I'm going to play this out for the benefit of Mr. Uday Sahay, because I want you to tell me how you would have reacted in this case. There are police officers on camera who are taking bribes from people, and this Dr. Ashok Kumar is one such person who paid the bribe. Let me just play out SP Haryana. We want to listen to this, because Sujay just told us this is a criminal offence. It's a cognizable offence. They have to be taken into custody. But here is what the seniors of the police force are doing instead. Play out that part, please.
रिपोर्ट कंप्लेन हमें मिली है इस बारे में, फतेहाबाद के बारे में. उसके बारे में मैंने आईजी हिसार की ड्यूटी लगाई है. वो इसमें इंक्वायरी करेंगे और अगर पुलिस कर्मचारी दोषी पाए जाएंगे तो उनके खिलाफ सख्त कार्रवाई की जाएगी.
सर, जिन पुलिसकर्मियों का वीडियो सामने आया है उनको सस्पेंड कर दिया गया?
सस्पेंड अभी हम उनकी इंक्वायरी की प्रीलिमिनरी इंक्वायरी की वेट कर रहे हैं, और इंक्वायरी रिपोर्ट आते ही हम उनको सस्पेंड कर देंगे.
सर इसमें ये भी छानबीन की जाएगी कि और कितने लोग शामिल?
हाँ, सारी पूरी गहनता से छानबीन की जाएगी और हर तथ्य को बारीकी से आईजी हिसार इंक्वायरी करवाएंगे।
So let me say this. If the DGP servant was caught stealing in his house, he would still keep him on duty. He would not suspend him and remove him from job. He would not take him to task. But just because these two are there in the ladder, down in the chain of the ladder, and because everyone is friendly to everyone, no action is being taken. Where is the question of preliminary inquiry in such a case? It's staring at you. It's there in front of you. He has to immediately swing into action. This is the wrong message that is being sent. And that is why these criminals and psychos feel that कुछ नहीं होने वाला है, कानून के हाथ लंबे हैं, लेकिन हम तो इसके आगे ही दौड़ रहे हैं. So therefore, this is a pandemic situation.
This is why nobody respects the law in the state of Haryana. Uday Sahay, the DGP Haryana saying हम preliminary inquiry करेंगे, उसके बाद ही suspension की बात होगी. What is your reaction to that?
Well, I mean, technically he may be right, but in a case like this where prima facie you find that on camera somebody is taking bribe, it is evident that the truth is naked in front of you, and therefore instead of looking at evidence to begin with, maybe you can start with truth and suspend the fellow. Suspension is not a punishment. You are removing him from the seat so that an impartial and a fair inquiry is conducted, if at all inquiry has to be conducted. So therefore, where is the technical hitch of suspending the alleged person on camera? And there I find that there is some error of judgment.
The Prevention of Corruption Act clearly says that the bribe taker has to be immediately booked and arrested. The bribe taker, not the giver, the bribe taker. That is mandatory under the law. So therefore, if you read the PC Act with the Supreme Court judgment, here you have a straight case and no action is being taken.
Gaurang Kanth, do you agree that right now a suspension or just the conversation of a suspension is not good enough? And my fundamental point is this: we're constantly talking about the fact that women are unsafe, women are unsafe, women are unsafe in Haryana. If the police can make a case go away by taking 1 lakh rupees, which means that the perpetrators of crime will constantly believe that if I have 1 lakh rupees in savings, I can do whatever I want.
What you're saying is correct to the extent that yes, people think that if they have money, they can get away with any crime. But the fact remains that why are we only talking about Haryana? I mean, there are other states in the country too where, there are crime against the women. And I think the police force is no better than what we can see in Haryana. And as far as the suspension of the person is concerned, what Mr. Sahay is pointing out is correct, that they can be suspended, but then again, you have to follow the due process of law and everybody is entitled for it. So those police officers are also entitled, and unless until something is established and proved, you can't really throw anybody out of the job. Yes, you have enough evidence to suspend him, but at the same time, he is entitled to a due process of law. And yes, I mean, this is a bad, the idea which flows in everybody's mind is that if you are rich and mighty, you can get away with anything. That really needs to change. And I think it is more to do with the kind of policing which is taking place, the way the investigation is actually taking place. Look at any of the cases. You look at Sunanda Pushkar. I mean, for the last 3 years, the room is locked. How many times the police persons need to really go and visit that hotel to get the evidence? I think it is more to do with the investigation process which is there in our country, which really needs to change, and these people need to understand. We still don't have the right kind of adequate kind of training for that purpose, which really needs to be changed.
Right. So let me answer your question. Let me answer your question, Gaurang Kanth. Let me answer your question about why we're talking about Haryana. 5 days ago, since the 26-year-old was abducted outside her hostel in the city of Gurugram and gang raped by 3 men on the roads of Delhi and Gurugram, the police have made zero headway. Zero headway. They have absolutely no idea who these 3 people were. They have not discovered which car that was being used to rape the girl. The only thing they have managed to do is place a reward of 2 lakh rupees for any information on the 3 accused. They have made zero headway in Gurugram. Now, in the Rohtak case that we've been talking about that took place last week, The forensics is taking time. The 6 people who've been being questioned now for over 3 days, none of them have been arrested. Only the 2 taken into custody have are still arrested, and now the police.
That's exactly where you answer my question.
And now the police. Let me point out, and I'm going to come back to both of you on this.
You answer my question to the extent that the forensic is taking so much time.
2 police officers, Sumendra Singh, ASI Rohtak, and Jogendra Singh, ASI Sonipat, have been suspended because of inaction in this case. They have been suspended for inaction in this case. Now, I'm quoting again Uday Sahay, who just said suspension is not a punishment. I demand punishment because in this case, Uday Sahay, inaction has costed a life.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that's not enough, because the other day also, if you recall, on the same issue we were discussing here in this studio, that to what extent is it justified to delay the suspension of the guys who caused non-registration of a case. And they have done it, but you know, justice delayed is justice denied, the old phrase, but it sounds so true. After 4 days, if you do the same thing which was evidently clear on the day 1 itself, like for today, when you don't suspend somebody taking money on camera, you can say that the camera could be fudged, you can say that, you know, a lot of possibilities of manipulation, etc., etc., but it is to the naked eye seemingly an offense committed by those in uniform, and which takes away the iqbal of police, and people lose faith on police. And therefore, in order to restore that, it is necessary that we act swiftly, not in a manner which may sound dilatory.
Sujay, legally, where does this stand? Sumendra Singh, ASI Rohtak, and Jogendra Singh, ASI Sonipat, should they be suspended?
Suspended is okay as far as their job is concerned, which is a civil remedy. There will be a charge sheet, there will be a disciplinary inquiry that may take years, there will be an appeal. But what about the accountability, and what about the contempt committed of the Supreme Court? And by tacitly not registering a cognizable offence, making the proper entries in the general station diary, trying to force a compromise and trying to do this jugaad kind of philosophy, how are they accountable on that footing? And therefore the criminal law kicks in over here, and therefore their name has to be added to the FIR. 120B is staring at us, it's wide in its sweep. Anyone indirectly or directly aids or abets an offence has to be named in the FIR, and let there be investigation made, and therefore then only the right message will be sent. All I'm saying is that we need to send a message.
Section 166A of the IPC very clearly says that if an FIR, if a government servant fails to record any information given to him, it is a cognizable offence. He shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment of a term of not less than 6 months. I want to understand why these people have not been included in the FIR, why these people have not been arrested. Yogita Bhayana, go ahead.
If this is the case, no fair, there will be 100 policemen.
This is exactly.
If this is the case, no, if they really follow, there will be 100 policemen every day, they'll be booked under this section, because they don't register FIR. They are so reluctant to do that. And when you were talking about Gurugram, there is no headway about it. It is not that there is no headway about it. It is just that they don't want to do it. If they really want, they can even find a lost dog on the street. But when it comes to, women's safety and all, it is a secondary matter for them. It's just that they don't want to perform. They are quite capable of performing. Let me also tell you. Section
166A is very clear, specific to the case we're talking about. Suspension is not enough, Gaurang.
Yes, absolutely. I think you have pointed absolutely the right Absolutely. I totally agree with you, and I'm glad that you have pointed out this section. This is the relevant section, and they should be prosecuted under this section, and they should all be actually, sent behind whatever 6 months is there. They should actually be prosecuted for this. And I don't know why the state government and the police force is reluctant to go against their own people. If this becomes the norm, probably we'll see better investigation in the future time to come.
No less than
So
6
this
months
section
and
needs to
may
be
extend to
enforced
2 years.
That's why.
stringently
Reason
with
being that the
with a
intent
force.
and the intent to implement these
Yes,
laws
absolutely.
is missing at all levels. It is not just at the basic level where people do not want to file these FIRs, it is also at the higher level where people are trying to hide up these kinds of activities.
All right, I'm going to bring in now Raman Malik, who I'll appreciate has been listening to everybody's opening arguments very quietly.
So
Raman Malik.
the buck should not stop only at the ASI level and the head constable level.
Very well said. Gaurang Kanth said very clearly he doesn't know why the state government is still going soft. Raman Malik, please respond to Mr. Gaurang Kanth.
Thank you, Faye. I believe after some half an hour. But yes, the point that you've taken out and whatever you've said, I am not a law graduate, so I would not be able to let's say comment on those particular laws, but yes, it has been a learning for me to listen all these laws. Having said that, I'll give you a very small example which has already happened in Gurugram, and why I'm giving this example is to make you understand how this government operates. There was a DCP level person who was posted in Gurugram. There were basic complaints against him. If you want, I can give you the name also. Now this person, after we received complaints and there was a prima facie inquiry done, the court of inquiries and other thing, whatever is required under the law is on. He's suspended, he's out of the job, and he would not be given the placement or anything till the time he is capable to prove himself not guilty of those offences.
I'm very glad to hear that. But that's not the question I'm asking you.
Onto him.
That's not the question I'm asking you. My
and
question
I can give
remains,
you the name.
My question
please
remains.
Listen.
Focus. See, we have limited time on this show. Don't start new stories. Let's focus on the stories we have. Raman Malik, story 1. This is now day 5 of the same story. Rohtak case.
I would
no
really
new
appreciate
arrests.
if you would let me after.
No, you're not answering the question, Raman Malik. I will give you time, but if you tell me a different story altogether, you're distracting from the problem. Rohtak case, 2 people arrested, 6 being questioned for 3 days.
I am not distracting.
Where is the movement on that case? Gurgaon.
I am giving you facts. Am I not there? No. Please, Faye.
Raman Malik,
Faye,
you can't. It's an
not
excellent tactic to give me facts about something that's completely irrelevant. But I'm asking you specific questions. I'm asking you.
No, it is not irrelevant. It is about the way the function of the government is.
But that is history, sir. We are talking about right now. What are you doing about the current case?
And it is not necessary for the CM to come on air and talk.
You are talking about the history. We want present case. What have you done?
We don't need to disclose
what are you planning to do?
What the police is doing to a political representative.
We are talking
what are you planning to do in this case?
Where police inaction has been confirmed. Police inaction has been confirmed by the superiors within the police force, but only a suspension has been ordered. Why haven't these people been taken in custody? Second, you've only arrested 2 men. What happened to the others that you were questioning? Third, in the Gurgaon rape case, how is it possible that you still have not identified the culprits? Fourth, we have evidence now of police officers taking bribes on camera. Why no action against them?
First, let me answer to this case. As
long as you're talking about these 4 cases and not a completely disconnected story, Mr. Raman Malik, you may answer.
An SIT has been formed. No. An SIT has been formed under range IG. Now, what we are doing is, we are doing the inquiry whether it is just these 2 people or there are seniors or juniors involved, would all be taken to task. Let us have all the facts, and this is a concrete evidence as it can be seen. But is it admissible under the law or not? I do not know. But let us do the inquiry, see if there is a chain above and below. Let's have all the names and take entirety into action.
In the Rohtak rape case,
2018.
will you arrest the 2 people who have been suspended for inaction should be included in the FIR for aiding and abetting and under section 166A? When will that happen? A suspension is eyewash.
So, no. Okay. Fair. I will ask you a simple question. Would these people whom we are asking today on this channel to be arrested and stated that they are co-accused, do they under the law have a right to a fair trial? And if they
after being
have,
arrested.
and their service
After being arrested and charge sheeted, yes.
to them,
After
can we
being
deny
arrested
them
and charge
that?
sheeted, yes, they have a right to a fair trial.
Will the fraternity of human rights leave this government on that charge?
Let them prove in the court that they are innocent. Let it at least happen in the FIR. No, let it come under the FIR. Also, I would like to ask you, if this case would have happened to a minister's daughter, minister's sister, minister's mother, would you have also reacted the same way? No, you would have booked everybody. You would have brought everybody on the book.
Because you have suspended them, you prima facie have a case.
Sujay, I just want to point out the irony of these arguments.
No.
On one hand, Raman Malik, on one hand, the Haryana police is saying we will not suspend until an inquiry. On the other hand, you have suspended them. Now you want another inquiry. I don't understand. Inquiry before suspension, inquiry after suspension. It just seems like you're going soft on all of these people. Captain Jaipal Singh. Captain Jaipal Singh is on the phone line from Rohtak. He's called us. Captain Jaipal Singh, go ahead.
Or if there are any other things.
Raman Malik, I have a citizen of Haryana on the phone line. Please listen to him.
Entire case, would you be able to leave them?
Raman Malik, I have a citizen of Haryana on the phone line. Please listen to him. Go ahead, Captain. Go ahead, Captain Jaipal Singh.
Miss D'Souza.
जी बोलिए.
ये जो आप ये गवर्नमेंट आज की देख रहे हैं ना हरियाणा में,
जी,
इसका जेनेसिस ये है कि ये एक ऐसे इनकम्पिटेंट इनएक्सपीरियंस आदमी को चीफ मिनिस्टर ले आए, जिसके आप देख सकते हैं फर्स्ट चॉइस इंफॉर्मेशन कमिश्नर वो है जो डीजीपी इस स्टेट के अंदर जो है मर्डर, अटेम्प्ट टू मर्डर, राइटिंग और लूट के लिए जिम्मेदार था। इनको उससे कॉम्पिटेंट कोई आदमी नहीं मिला, और जो ईमानदार और चीफ अफसर हैं वो इनका कहना नहीं मानते, और जो बेईमान और चालबाज हैं वो इनके काबू नहीं आते और इनसे गलत काम कराते हैं।
कैप्टन सिंह, आप मुझे ये बताइए, आप रोहतक में रहते हो, क्या आपका मानना है कि पुलिस वाले वहाँ पे ईमानदार है?
तो मैं कहता हूँ कोई कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल राइट जैसे चीफ मिनिस्टर है हरियाणा में है ही नहीं। इट इज ए वर्स देन ओपन जेल। जो रॉयट्स के अंदर हुआ वो इसलिए हुआ कि चीफ मिनिस्टर के सारी की सारी साजिश में शामिल, और इन्होंने उसी आदमी को फिर अपना इंफॉर्मेशन कमिश्नर लगा दिया, और इनको इनके कब्जे में इनके कहने से ईमानदार और सख्त अफसर मानते नहीं, और बेईमान आदमी से ये काम करा नहीं सकते क्योंकि वो पैसे लेके बाहर हो जाते हैं। स्टेट की बहुत बुरी हालत है। ये चौथा लाल है, ये द फोर्थ लाल चीफ मिनिस्टर। अगर ये नहीं बदलेंगे अगले साल इनका परमानेंट चौथा हो जाएगा। They cannot get away from facing the facts of life.
And that's a citizen who has called us right now on the phone line. So has Jaya from Mumbai. Jaya, go ahead. We can hear you.
I would like to emphasize that this horrifying nexus between the netas, the police, the criminals, it's a legacy of 70 years. Of course, this government in Haryana has been in power for at least 2.5 years, which is quite a long time. And this issue is, I think, a national issue. It's not only in a particular state.
Yes.
Though we are hearing of all these rape cases in the past 1 week in Haryana, let me tell you that there are many cases every day which go unreported, even unnoticed for various reasons which you and I know.
Yes.
So the immediate, I do not want to be judgmental, but I feel that the entire society, it's because of the morals which
Yes. All right, I understand what you're saying. I just want to bring in someone who hasn't spoken yet, Dr. Ashok Kumar. Dr. Ashok Kumar joins us in Chandigarh. He's one of the people who was asked to pay bribes to the police. Dr. Kumar, अगर मेरी आवाज़ आप तक आ रही है, आप हमें बताइए कि आप जब हरियाणा पुलिस के साथ इंटरैक्ट करते हो, जब उन्होंने आपको फ़ोन किया, बुलाया, क्या हुआ? क्या हरियाणा की पुलिस ईमानदार है, डॉक्टर कुमार?
हरियाणा की पुलिस बिल्कुल बेईमान है, और इससे बड़ी किसी स्टेट में बेईमान पुलिस नहीं है। और इन्होंने 2017-9-2016 को एक लिंग जांच का वहाँ लोगों को पकड़ा था, 7-8 लोगों को, और उनके डिस्क्लोजर में मेरा नाम लिख लिया। और उसके बाद मेरे पास एक एसपी ने एक आदमी भेजा, कमल अरोड़ा, और वो मेरे से सौदाबाजी करके मेरी इज्जत ख़राब करने के लिए मेरे को दबका कर उसने एक दबका मारा कि ये पंजाब का इलेक्शन आपके ऊपर है, मैं एमसी का चुनाव लड़ चुका हूँ पहले, और मेरी इमेज ख़राब करने के लिए उन्होंने कहा कि अगर आपने पैसे नहीं दिए तो आपकी इमेज ख़राब कर देंगे, आपको जेल में डाल दिया जाएगा और इंटेरोगेट करेंगे। मैंने उनसे डरते 15 लाख रुपया उनको दे दिया, मगर 2 महीने मेरे को किसी ने नहीं छेड़ा। 2 महीने के बाद 20/11/2016 को एसपी ओपी नरवाल ने 3 गाड़ियां भेजी, सीआई टोहाना, सीआई फतेहाबाद की, और वो मेरे को उठाकर ले गए और वहाँ पर ले जाकर उन्होंने मेरे को इंटेरोगेट किया। मेरी जो पाँव था वो तोड़ दिया उन्होंने और बहुत ज़्यादा तशद्दुद किया। इसके बाद मेरे से 1 करोड़ की ओपी नरवाल ने मांग की, तो मैंने कहा कि नोटबंदी है, मेरे पास 1 करोड़ रुपया नहीं है। मैंने बहुत रिश्तेदारों को फ़ोन किए, मेरे फ़ोन से इन्होंने फ़ोन करवाए, मगर कोई पैसे के लिए किसी ने हाँ नहीं भरी, क्योंकि नोटबंदी थी, पैसे किसी के पास थे ही नहीं। तो फिर मेरे को ये रिमांड दौरान 29/11 को पात्रा ले आए मेरे वहाँ प्लेस में, और वहाँ से आकर मेरे से इन्होंने मेरा ज़मीन गिरवी रखवा कर 8,70,000 रुपया लिया, जो मेरे पास उनका ज़मीन गहने का स्टाम्प है उसी डेट में, और बाद में मेरे पे झूठी रिकवरी लगा दी वहाँ पे कि ये लिंक जांच करते थे। मेरा ना तो लिंक जांच करने का कोई अधिकार है और ना ही मैं लिंक जांच करने में शामिल हूँ। मेरे को लिंक जांच की अथॉरिटी नहीं है, ना लिंक जांच के बारे में मेरा कोई किसी तरह का कोई हाथ ही है इसमें। और उसके बाद मेरे से 30-40 खाली पेजों के साइन करवा लिए। मेरे जेल जाने के बाद इन्होंने मेरी घरवाली का नाम लिख लिया, और उसके बाद मेरे भाई का नाम लिख लिया और मेरे भांजे का नाम लिख लिया। सभी के नाम लिखकर उनसे पैसे मांगने लगे। मेरी घरवाली ने एक मकान मेरा पड़ा था पात्रा में, वहाँ वो बेचकर और उसको 25 लाख रुपया सरपंच मायूवाला अमर सिंह को, अमरपाल सिंह है वो एसपी ने भेजा था, उससे ले लिया। 5 लाख मेरे भाई से ले लिया, 7 लाख मेरे भांजे से लिया। इसी तरह 60 लाख की लूट हमारे साथ इन्होंने की, और 92 लोगों के मेरे डिस्क्लोजर में नाम डाल दिए। जितने 92 लोग हैं उसमें वो उनके सभी से किसी से 5 लाख, किसी से 10 लाख लेकर इन्होंने 40 लोगों को निकाल दिया। बाकी लोगों के ऊपर एफआईआर जो थी वो स्टैंड करके और उसका चलान पेश कर दिया। काफी लोग इन्होंने जो रहे इसमें एफआईआर में पकड़े नहीं, उनको पैसे लेकर छोड़ दिया।
उदय सहाय, फॉर्मर डीसीपी दिल्ली पुलिस, आपने अभी सुना कि डॉक्टर अशोक कुमार ने क्या कहा, आपका रिएक्शन क्या है?
जी मैंने सुना। खैर चूँकि मैं पर्टिकुलरली इस केस के बारे में नहीं जानता, इसीलिए इट मे नॉट बी वाइज फॉर मी टू कमेंट ऑन द मेरिट ऑफ व्हाट ही इज सेइंग, बट इट इज़ नॉट अनफेमिलियर when you hear such version. But this particular case that you were talking about, and you were expecting the audience to be little, the guests to be little focused, I have another point to make, and this is an extension to what Gaurang was mentioning, that does the buck stop at ASI level, or should you not also fix accountability to those up in the hierarchy who were trying to defend the indefensible? If you recall the other day, there was a plea taken that they had already reached a compromise, whereas in law there is nothing called compromise in criminal cases. It's not a civil case where 2 persons involved can settle the issue between themselves. Here the district SP was consistently seen on camera saying that since they had compromised, so we did not take action. What do you do? I mean, such deviations are taking place blatantly, and you are taking action after a gap of 1 week. That too by saying that we have suspended 1 ASI, 1 head constable. That's not enough. And somewhere, in case they are losing out reputation-wise like this, it will hurt them very badly in times to come. So it's the high time that they take note of a situation like this and act swiftly.
Right,
and you
yes.
can't get away by saying that we are conducting an inquiry. Yes, you are conducting an inquiry, but so what? How much time does it take to see the truth?
Absolutely, and I also want to bring in Uday Sahay here. Article 311 subsection 2B of the Constitution empowers a police commissioner to dismiss from service, different from suspend, dismiss from service a subordinate for reasons that are listed in that article. Shouldn't that actually be actioned here? These people should be dismissed. Suspension is actually going soft. They should be dismissed, and as Sujay Kantawala pointed out, they should be listed in the FIR as co-accused.
That's right.
Yes, they can do that. They can do that, but that's the departmental action part. There is also a criminal action part, and we don't hear anything about that. And on the other hand, we see officers, defending such acts by saying that we didn't take action because there was a compromise. No such compromise is actually legally tenable and possible.
No such compromise.
The senior officers speak as if it is a course of law.
Sneha, and I want to bring in this point. I know, Sujay, you want to react to it. Sneha Mukherjee shared with us an experience that you found out of 50 cases of gang rape, several of them had been compromised. Tell us what your research shows you, Sneha.
I would point out 40 exactly, and in most cases the cases have been closed. They are not even pending investigation. The cases have been closed. They are not even in courts anymore. And most people are so scared, they do not even want to, these families do not even want to talk about anything. And we have had cases personally where we have filed complaints against police officials who have asked for bribe, who have threatened and coerced these families, but no action has been taken. So this is the reality in Haryana.
So therefore, this clearly shows that it goes right up to the top. Nobody seems to be interested.
Absolutely.
Nobody seems to be interested. And what she just pointed out, 40 cases of rape have been closed and closure reports have been filed. That is unthinkable. It is unfathomable. Therefore, all these persons should be rounded up. All the officers who recorded this compromise are guilty. They are guilty as hell.
Tell me something. How is it possible, Sujay or Gaurang Kanth, how is it possible if Mr. Sahay is telling us very clearly that legally no such compromise is tenable? It's not possible to compromise. How can they close these cases? What is going on? There must be some higher up who needs to look at it and say, why have we closed 40 out of 50 gang rape cases?
All have to be reopened.
All have to be reopened. Gaurang Kanth, do you agree?
Well, there are many reasons for it. You know what?
Yeah.
Well, there are many reasons for it. You know, when we talk about closure of a case, if the victim is not coming forward and victim is not coming forward to, make a statement before the court has got no other, remedy but to, close the case. If there are witnesses who are there and they turn hostile. So there are many reasons for the cases to fall flat.
I'll just add one thing. They have recorded compromise.
Yes.
They have recorded compromise. It's not the question of the complaint not coming. There is a compromise. So therefore we have written consent.
Sneha Mukherjee, did it say compromise? How, when you say cases were closed, how were they closed?
Yes. So what happens in these cases is these families are threatened to a level where they are forced not to make a statement. Even if they make a statement, those statements are tampered with. We've seen cases where a girl has made a statement and she has said things specifically and those things have been deleted from the statement she has made. Those things have not been made a part of the statement that was recorded.
So if tampering of record is there...
threatened inside my own house by the police, by panchayat, by the family of the dominant caste, by the family of the victim, what choice do I have? I am not being able to walk out of my house without there being a threat to my life or a threat to my family. So how do you expect me to go to the court and make a bold statement and tell that yes, something has happened to me and people are doing wrong to my family? So in these cases, even at certain level, the judicial officers are also involved. We have seen cases where
simply on statistics, if 40 out of 50 gang rape cases have been closed, shouldn't that raise a few eyebrows? Uday Sahay, wouldn't you make you suspicious if you looked at those files? You have 40 out of 50 have been closed. Isn't that suspicious?
Which is why when we looked at the statistics, we were shocked.
Well,
how is this even possible?
I would like to make a distinction.
Yes. Go ahead, Mr. Sahay.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to make a distinction between cases which are pre-trial cases which have entered into trial. In the police stage, investigation stage, when you go to a police station and when you submit a complaint orally or in writing, the police officer, the duty officer, is duty bound to take cognizance of that. Now at that stage, when they say that, well, we didn't take an action because they have compromised, there is something missing, which you must look into as a police officer.
Absolutely.
And in a case like this where a gang rape allegation is there, or stalking allegation is there, a stalking and threatening to death allegation is there, you can't take it seriously. Such sensitivity is apparently quite lacking in a highly patriarchal society like Haryana. Unfortunately, the girl was from a Dalit community, and therefore all the more reason they feel that, okay, I mean, if we don't take immediate cognizance also, nobody is going to look at it. In this particular case, unfortunately, the girl died and she was brutally killed, mutilated, and it became a big issue. Otherwise, you know, they're saying that a big crime in a bad neighborhood. A big crime in a bad neighborhood does not attract attention, and there lies the problem of enforcement of police. Just because the girl was poor, comes from a downtrodden section, you don't take cognizance. Suppose if the girl was from the posh locality of Rohtak, you think the situation would have been different? No, not really. It would have been completely a different scenario altogether. And one must look at these things very clearly as a top brass in police. And if there are aberrations on the ground, you are there to course correct, you are there to guide, you are there to tell them that, look, this is the Lakshman Rekha, you can't cross, etc. Unfortunately, we find that that kind of supervision is apparently missing. And the supervision is becoming highly technical, which is okay. Yeah.
Right. I want to quickly bring in a couple of viewers, and I know Raman Malik wants to respond, and then we'll go to Raman Malik. Shri Rangachari is on the phone line from Mumbai. Go ahead.
What I would like to say to is, I respect all the intelligentsia who are on the panel, except one. I hope you can understand who is that one. But what I would like to mention to you all is why we are not telling that the only politicians are planting these goons. And these goons are being recruited by the politicians, and these goons are being planted by the politicians. And again, if they are doing any mischief, how can these people take action? There is no political will to do any such kind of things. Until and unless political will is there, these goons will forever be doing such kind of an act. There is no let off from the society.
Absolutely. Jayu Patwardhan is on the phone line from Pune. Jayu, go ahead.
I personally feel that inaction in such a heinous crime amounts to abating the crime. And every time a lawkeeper is let off with just a suspension, it makes for anarchy. There should be a way to take severe action against the people who are part of the system but work against it for more accountability. A suspended policeman can cause so much terror and damage to the victim and the family in connivance with his buddies in the office is unimaginable. Reasons for witnesses turning hostile. And with silence in the system gets more corroded and dehumanizes the police more. It's like tasting blood for them because they know they can get away only with just suspension.
Very well said. You know, I want to point out to Raman Malik. You know, Raman Malik on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, today is Thursday, we were all very, very angry. These were very, very angry discussions. I think today we're exhausted. Everybody on this panel, including the people who are calling on the phone line, seem exhausted by the fact that we are constantly pointing out injustice, inefficiency and corruption on the ground. Raman Malik, how does the state government continue to defend this?
We and the state government are never there to defend it. All that we are saying is, whether it is the victim, whether it is the accused, they should be tried as per the law, and whoever is found guilty should be given the maximum punishment under that law. That is the simple stance of this government, which unfortunately is not understandable by a lot of intelligence.
Raman Malik, you cannot try someone unless you arrest them and write an FIR.
Point out.
You have to name them in the FIR.
You cannot try someone by suspending them. You have to first write an FIR and arrest them, Raman Malik. We have lots of lawyers on the panel. One of them, Sujay, do you want to explain the process to Raman Malik?
Please understand, the legislature legislature cannot go and start picking and hitting people. That is not the job of legislature.
You are the executive. You are the government.
You to do so.
In your state, anybody can pick up any
Sir,
girl, put her in the car,
would you permit
brutalize her, rape her,
MLA
that
going
is
and
okay
hitting
with
a
the
police
law.
person? No.
You need
what kind of an example is that?
No. You tell me.
Malik, you seem to be
what would you do
completely
if
missing the
news comes that an MLA went over and hit a person?
Are you telling me that I think Raman Malik, we've had suggestions from everybody on this panel on what should be done. Nobody suggested that you slap a policeman. I think you are displaying the mindset of Haryana when I said that you should either...
You just don't want to answer the questions.
What can I do?
We've told you very clearly what you can do.
This is not the way, Faye. Let's talk logic. Can you expect a minister to pick out a police personnel of any stature, pull his collar, give him two thappads and say that
is that law and order in the state of Haryana, Mr. Raman Malik?
Yes.
Pulling someone's collar and giving them two thappads. That's how you enforce the law and order. That's how you enforce the law and order.
And
this is the problem you're having today.
That is what you expect out of the
Nobody
government of
expects
Haryana.
that. I expect you to follow the constitution of this country.
Kalam chalaiye, sir. Kalam chalaiye.
I expect you to follow the constitution of this country. We spent 40 minutes talking about what you can do. Pulling someone's collar, slapping them was nobody's suggestion.
We will put those officers also in the case.
Pulling someone's collar, slapping them was nobody's suggestion. We have senior police officers.
That is what
we have senior lawyers who told you what you should be doing.
I am giving you an example and you are putting it as a
you have been educated by the lawyers on the panel, so now take action.
So I have been listening to their suggestions.
It's not suggestion, it's a law.
That what am I going to do?
You and I are both bound by it. All of us are bound by it.
Have I intervened when these senior people who know the law have been suggesting certain things?
So why do you think that the solution is slapping a policeman? Why do you think the solution is to slap a policeman?
You have told me certain
Why do you think the solution is to slap a policeman? I'm asking you to take action. I'm telling you a suspension of the two police officers, Sumendra Singh and Jogendra Singh in Rohtak and Sonipat is not enough. I've told you they need to be dismissed.
People on the debate to educate you. You have your own law officers in the government.
That education has not worked because now he thinks the solution is to slap police officers. Now you think the solution is to slap police officers.
That is what you want.
That is what is Raman Malik, you're not a very good listener, I'm afraid.
That a police officer be slapped. The law says arrest him.
No, I think you are catching the tail of the argument.
That is what you
That
are
is never meant by anyone.
In lesser words, that is what you are suggesting.
The problem with them is in Delhi, if something happens...
I have been listening to all you guys.
Sir, listen,
I've been listening very patiently to everybody.
Listen the last time.
Raman Malik, do not insult the intelligence of my panel. Nobody on this panel suggested that you slap police officers. Nobody on this panel suggested. We made very clear suggestions. We said suspension is not enough. You need to dismiss from service. You need to have these people arrested. You need to include their names in the FIR as co-accused because that is what the law very clearly says. So the suggestion here is to follow the law. Which is not a suggestion. The law never makes a suggestion. You have to follow the letter of the law. Nobody said pull a policeman by the collar and give him two slaps. I think that is a display, Raman Malik, of the mindset of Haryana. The fact that people in Haryana can only communicate through violence. You cannot follow the law. That's fundamentally the problem.
That also displays the mindset that you have sitting in Mumbai. How much do you know about Haryana?
I know about the law, and the law is equal to us all, Raman Malik. The law is equal to us all. The law in Mumbai is the same as the law in Haryana.
Let them inquire. When a state DGP on record says he's inquiring, please honor the person who is
doing the wrong thing. Now, Mr. Malik, when this program is played again in the night, you hear please watch it again. What Mr. Sahay, what Gaurav and what I have been telling. Please watch again and please hear.
And what Yogita Bhayana has said and what Sneha Mukherjee has said very clearly, the gender ratio in...
suggestions, I want to take it to my
Haryana. I am from Haryana.
Yogita Bhayana, please, I pass you the baton. Please tell him what Haryana is like.
And that is why I was listening to all of you.
Listen to Yogita, what Yogita is.
Listen, sir, I am from Haryana. I wanted to ask you, where a girl is picked up and mutilated, raped, and there are everyday cases reported, there is a very, very low sex equality, and there are women still wearing veils and they are not supposed to go out from their houses to work. They are still discriminated on a lot of issues. They are not sent to schools. This is Haryana, and Faye knows about it. This is the reason she has been taking it up. Now coming to another issue, which Delhi always says that Home Ministry is not in our control, the police is not in our control. In Haryana, police is working with you, in connivance with you, with your orders. Why not you take actions? You can't even have that excuse that police is not under you. It is very much with you, and it works with the perks, sharing with you. You have no excuse to say, you can't suspend them and you can't do any action on them. You have to take action, sir. We have heard enough from you. I think you don't know Haryana. That's why you're making such remarks for last so many days. You need to understand Haryana. I think you are also from Haryana. But
Uday Sahay, former DCP Delhi Police, Uday Sahay, after the entire conversation we had, for someone to turn around and say, what do you expect me to do? Pull a policeman by his collar and give him 2 slaps. I think this is very telling of the mindset of Haryana. The fact that problems can only be solved with violence. Uday Sahay.
Well, I think it's like catching the tail of the argument, not the head. And when we are talking about Haryana, we are not talking about Haryana per se. We are talking about a patriarchal mindset which largely exists in some of the states, including Haryana. And that's not the point. Haryana is not being discussed. The cases are discussed. Tomorrow it can happen in some other state. Even that state will be discussed, because the whole concept of debating these issues is to hold power to account. They can't have a power all unto themselves. And the whole idea why it's being personalized like this, nobody is suggesting that you catch hold of a police guy and hit him. Who would suggest like this, Mr. Raman? And don't catch the tail of what is being said here. The point is that something has gone wrong. The point is that law has been violated. The point is that there is a delayed action. Nobody is saying that there is no action. There is a delayed action, and therefore there is suspicion that there is some kind of a mix-up. It's if you try to place yourself in others' shoes, maybe these doubts also would crop up in your mind. So don't take it personally, and these issues will be discussed whether you like it or not. People will be, if you are sitting in position of authority, people will take a dig at you if you go wrong. And something has gone seriously wrong in cases like this. Now,
Mr. Uday Sahay, I have this question for you. As a retired police officer functioning in Delhi, 5 days since that 26-year-old was snatched up from outside her house in the city of Gurugram, raped for 5 hours in a moving car between Delhi and Gurugram, then dumped on the street. The police have 0 leads. They do not know where the car is. They have not identified the car. They have not identified any of the 3 people who raped this girl, and she has given them her entire statement. Do you believe that this is an efficient police force? Do you believe it should take this long to identify these 3 people and the car?
Well, again, to make a sweeping statement that police is inefficient because they have got no clues may not be fair for me, because I do not know the details of the case. But in general, Delhi being Delhi, there are so many institutions working round the clock as a check and balance on police. The efficiency of police is very, very different, and it should be. And but Gurugram is not very far. Gurugram is in the catchment area. Gurugram is in NCR, and to expect the NCR to be completely different from what's happening in Delhi in terms of their efficiency, in terms of their speed, we don't expect that from Gurugram, certainly. So if it has taken this long, it is not normal. It's certainly not normal, and that's what people sitting in Delhi or sitting in places like Mumbai would expect in cases like this.
None of this is normal.
Maybe those guys are watching this
and
program.
Therefore it's inefficient.
None of this is normal. Raman Malik, none of this is normal. And what is worst of all, your response is not normal. Your response of what you expect me to do, how can I keep all the women safe, should I slap the police officers? None of that is normal, Raman Malik. None of this is normal.
I would request you an uninterrupted 1 minute so that I can put my point.
Your time starts now.
Number one, the way you are handling this and putting everything that we are not doing job of any relevance to the cases is completely incorrect. Number one. Number two, I fully endorse what Mr. Sahay had said on the first instance, that these cases are what has to be discussed. I was listening to your debate, taking down points. How do you know what am I going to do after this debate, after getting this knowledge from you, which I did not have, and I have no qualms in accepting I did not have about these particular sections. I would take it to wherever I need to put these things forward. That is number two. Number three, my statement has only come because of the simple fact that a person who is carrying an emblem of the Union of India has stated certain things. We as citizens should accept one thing, that let at least his investigations be over and let him give a statement after those investigations. And if it is found that he has not conducted a fair investigation, let's challenge it.
Okay, 1 minute up, Raman Malik.
I am happy to do so.
1 minute is up, Sujay Kantawala. What's wrong with that response?
Let him investigate
incident that happens later, anytime in your state or in your knowledge later on. Please don't wait for a debate. Just call Gaurang, me or Mr. Sahay. We'll advise you on phone so you can take immediate action. Don't wait for 5 days on a debate, please. It's ridiculous.
So dumb.
And let me just have to wrap up this conversation in rebut to Raman Malik. First point, he said, I'm portraying all of this wrong. I am portraying the truth, and I will continue to do so relentlessly every night until this case reaches its logical end. I'm making that commitment one more time. Even if we are the only channel to do so, as we have been in the last 5 days, I will continue to do so, because I will not let this go. My commitment to you, Raman Malik, and to the women of Haryana. Secondly, it's very interesting that Raman Malik has increased the role of the media right now to bring in legal advisors to the government, because the government sends in representatives to these shows to gain legal knowledge on various sections of how the law should function. This is your job. Do not take the job if you do not have the ability to do reading. Do not take the job if you do not have the ability to hire a legal advisor within the government who will teach you the damn sections that will tell you that police officers should not be taking bribes. That will teach you the sections that tell you that police officers should be filing FIR. That will teach you the sections that tell you that the police officers should be keeping women safe and not allowing them to be raped and not burying cases after they've been gang raped. This should be common knowledge. It shouldn't even have to take you a debate where we come and we tell you that these things are wrong. And finally, if you are going to tell me that we need to sit here and accept what that police DGP is saying because he has an emblem on his shoulder, we have just proven to you that the police in your government are corrupt. We're not going to listen to any of them. We're not going to listen to you until you bring about action. Talking, the time for talking is over. The time for press conferences is over. The time for media bites is over. Action is all we demand. And here is what we're demanding. The 2 officers who have been suspended for inaction, which means inaction has been proven, must be co-accused in the FIR, and you must take criminal action against them. They must be arrested. You cannot have a trial without an arrest. FYI, Raman Malik, there's the law for you. Secondly, the officers who've been seen on camera taking money must be fired, not suspended, dismissed from their duty. Because whatever the details of the case are, they've been seen on camera taking money for the price of unborn baby girls. Where is your conscience? And finally, the Chief Minister of Haryana, your state is a mess. You need to come out and you need to take responsibility. Stop hiding. Come out and take responsibility for the fact that you are running a banana republic, where the law apparently has completely been brought down to its knees because the people who are running the law are selling it for 1 lakh rupees per FIR. Clean it up now, or provide us with your resignation, move out and bring in someone who can clean it up. Beti Bachao, stop saying it. I promise you we are watching. I promise you we are not letting this go. None of this is good enough. You are not good enough to the government of Haryana, and we will not let it go. Thanks for watching.